Oh Lord. Hello, hello. I'm dropping stuff. Gosh, it seems like it's been forever since I've gone live. And no matter how many times I do this, I always get nervous when I'm about to go live. So I guess it's just normal stage fright. But anyway, I can see that we've already got some people joining us. Thank you so much. I know it was short notice, but I just felt like I just needed to do a live today because I haven't been on here in a while. So thank you so much for joining me. And if you're watching this on the recording, then thank you for joining us on that too. My name's Leo, and I'm the founder of One Happy Widow. In case you don't know, and I'm just here to talk about the holidays. If you've been with me for a while, you probably haven't had like a good catch up time with me because my recorded videos, I try to just get down to business and like get on the topic and then get on with it. But on the live sessions, it's like a little bit more of a personal level. And so I used to do lives, once or twice a month. And it's been a while since I've done a live. So I think some of you guys who used to catch me all the time might be time to just catch you up on what's been going on in One Happy Widow world. And then we'll talk about holidays and, we'll chat a little bit. And yes, so French Lady says, wow, I made a live. Hey, I don't know who French Lady is. Is that Jonice, by the way? I know Jonice is from France. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for posting. Feel free to post where you're from if you'd like into the chat. And if you want to post any questions, then you can do that as well. I will not continuously look at the chat because that gets me off topic sometimes and it gets me a little distracted. So I will talk for a bit, then I will catch up on chat, and then I will talk for a little bit, and then I will catch up on chat, and I'll wrap up on the chat if there's any last minute questions. And hello, Tim. Hello, Jilly Rabbit 12. Hello from Indiana. Laura from Raleigh, North Carolina. Thank you for all you do. Piglets Bank. First one. Hi. And Tim is from North Carolina also. And Lee Russ from Florida. So I see a couple of familiar names, and then I see some new folks. So I'm so glad that you're joining us today. Ah, there you are, Jonice. Yes, it has been forever. Suzanne says from Huntsville, Alabama. So I got some people from SEC area. SEC, SEC champs, those Georgia Bulldogs. We won't really go there, though. We won't rub it in for the third year in a row. Okay. So I did want to mention, so today I'm going to talk a little bit about the holidays, but if you got my email and you saw my post on our Facebook group recently, I have been asked to be one of the featured speakers on a big summit, a holiday summit that's given by a group of ladies called the Widow Squad, and they are doing a virtual summit, and it's coming up on November 16th through 18th. And there's like 20 plus speakers that have recorded presentations, and I was very honored that they asked me to record a presentation for them as well. So I did a specific presentation about holiday stuff from my point of view. So I don't really want to repeat all of that because I want to save it, for the recording on the summit. So if you're interested, it's a free registration for the Holiday Hope Summit. I will, once this video posts on the recording, there'll be a description below that, and I will have the link to the holiday summit below. So if you're watching the recording, it's already there. If you're watching live, you'll have to wait on the recording, or you can just reach out to me on Facebook, email me at leo@onehappywidow.com. I'll get you the link somehow, but it's free registration. Also, there's an all access pass that they're offering. I'm not sure what the price is. You'll have to go in and check on that. But with the all access price, you get access to the recordings of all the presentations, and you get this like huge package of freebies that were provided by all the speakers. And so, you've heard about me. If you've heard me talk about the my grief pivot course, I have a mini pivot course that's just the first 7 modules of that 28 module course. And that was my contribution to the all access pass. So if you want a free mini course, pivot mini course, and a whole bunch of other free stuff that's offered by that, then you can just purchase the all access pass and you can get that as well. So let's see who else is joining us. Joni from Oregon, Kathy, first live, but several recordings from Central Florida. Christy says hello. Nancy O's Creative from Indiana. Kathy, oh, come on, Kathy. Come on now. We're not going to go there. All right, Tim, close to Laura, near Raleigh. Laura says, hi, Tim. All right, Sue from Idaho is still around. Hello, Sue. Tony, hi, Leo. Tony from Ontario, Canada. Okay, so my roots are from Canada. My mother was from Canada. My grandparents are born and raised in Canada. So I've never been there, but I do have some family back there. Tim's from Clayton. French lady, I would really love if you talk about second chapters or started dating a divorced dad of 2 young kids. We both have broken hearts, but care for each other very much. I've been dating almost a year. And then French lady, I will touch on that for just a second. And then Aunt B33, hello from Kentucky. 33 is that number that I talk about a lot. So if you've watched my other videos, 33 has a special meaning here. So for French lady and her question, I have done several videos about chapter 2 and dating and things like that. So I would encourage you to look back through the YouTube channel and see, there's several on that. And then go on the Facebook group. If you're not a member of the Facebook group, it's facebook.com/group/onehappywidow. Get approval to join the group there. And then we talk about things like that a lot. So Penny is from California. California is where I was born. Okay, so talked about the Holiday Hope Summit. Also, I have a holiday idea list. And so the holiday idea list is just like a list of ideas of things of how you could honor your loved one during the holidays, things that you could do to try to help survive the holidays. So I do have that as a free bonus, and that is also being offered through the Holiday Hope Summit. So you can get it through there. After the Holiday Hope Summit, I will offer it to all of my people for free on my website too. So I believe you could probably get it from my homepage too, onehappywidow.com. I think I have it up there. Anyway, go check it out. I'm trying to hit everything all over the place. Linda from Georgia. What part of Georgia? I'm from Georgia. I'm in just outside of Griffin in Milner. Okay. So as I said, I haven't really given y'all like a lot of personal updates lately about what's going on. For some reason, my hair looks crazy, even though I did fix it this morning. Let's see. If you haven't heard, I did start a new job in September. I started another new job in August. And if you followed me from last year, that horrible, horrible experience at teaching that I tried to do that was about gave me a nervous breakdown. I left that job and I got a job as a supervisor, like the head of the special ed department at a middle school. It was a non-teaching position. And it there was just some things that happened. And I don't want to go into a whole lot of details, but I was only there for a month. Some things happened with my daughter that required me to leave teaching in the building. Move my microphone here. And so I ended up switching jobs just after a month. And I know that sounds crazy. So I came home. So now I'm teaching from home. It's still a regular teaching job. It's just online virtual teaching. So I still teach Monday through Friday. I'm still teaching special ed. I'm still teaching math. I'm still teaching high school. And so it's been a lot less stressful for me to teach from home. The pay is a lot less also. So I had to take quite a bit of a cut in funds in order to come home so that I could be with my daughter who's now at home too. And so that's been a little bit of an adjustment. It's a big learning curve because there's a lot of technology that I've had to learn. And so I haven't been able to focus as much here with One Happy Widow, with videos, with Facebook stuff. I've kind of had to take a little bit of a back seat to that so I could focus on the job. And so it's finally starting to calm down a little bit. So we also got a new puppy. She is not allowed down here because it's carpeted down here. And I think we finally got her potty trained just about, but she's really sweet, but she's a puppy. And, we thought it would be a good addition to our family, and she is. However, the big dogs, she's a little dog, not tiny, but, she's like maybe 30 pounds. She's a golden doodle. Well, she's only 5 months old. The big dogs that we have that are both over 100 pounds each, that are sweet to us and they love each other, they do not like the puppy. So they want to eat the puppy. So we have had to keep them separated. And so we can't just it's been cold out night. So we have to bring the big dogs in. We have to put them in their cages. And then the puppy goes up and taunts them in the cages and they start barking. And I don't know how to integrate them. And I'm afraid if we try to integrate them, it only takes one mistake for one of the big dogs to crush her throat and kill her. So I'm not really sure how to get them to like each other without risking one of them dying. So we're trying to play musical dogs right now and trying to keep one locked in the room while the other ones are in the house and then take the other ones outside while the other one's in the house. And it's been a little bit crazy. But that's been, it's a good stress, but it's still a stress. Um, Also with with the cut in pay and with blending families and being in a different tax bracket and not having as many dependents as we used to have, and different ways of like filing your taxes when you're widowed and stuff like that. We have gotten ourselves into a heck of a tax mess. And so, we've been trying to work through like possible solutions for our tax issues. We've got some back taxes, a lot of back taxes that we owe, and we're trying to do payment plans and, just so we're not really sure the best way to go about that. And so we've had to make some big financial decisions. And so, and I've talked about Money Pickle. And so, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about that again. So we worked with Money Pickle for some ideas on how to move forward. And we finally came up with a good solution, I think, to get ourselves kind of straightened out and get our back taxes caught up, our property taxes caught up, and get on track, just kind of consolidate or whatever. Anyway, if you are unsure and you've got a lot of money changes, just like a lot of us get money changes when we become widowed, various different reasons. Some of us have windfalls of money. Some of us have um, inheritances. Some of us have assets. Some of us don't have any. And then we have to go back to work. Like there's so many changes in our finances when we become widowed. And a lot of times we're not really sure what to do. And I, at first, didn't really want anybody telling me what to do with my money, but then I realized I don't know anything about managing my money. And so maybe I do need at least have somebody to give me options. You don't have to do what they say, but at least you know what your options are and the pros and cons, maybe long term of making certain decisions. And so we talked to Money Pickle about that. You can talk to Money Pickle about that for a free 45-minute online consultation from a professional financial expert. All you have to do is go to moneypickle.com/onehappywidow, sign up for an appointment, and it's online. And you get your 45 minutes for free. And then they'll give you some ideas of, what you could do. And then if they have services they might want to provide you later on that you want to take, that's up to you. But get your 45 minutes for free. You might as well. I mean, at least get some ideas. And then you'll know kind of what road to choose. And at least it helped us to know, what the pros and cons were for the different options that we had ahead of us. And I think we picked the best option. We're putting it in place. In the next month or two, things should start leveling out. And on top of that, fingers crossed, I'm hoping I might be able to retire from teaching after this year. I don't know for sure because I tried doing it last year and I tried doing it the year before, and I think I tried to do it the year before that. Every year I'm like, this is my last year teaching. And then guess what? I can't. So, and if you've watched some of my videos, you'll know that, as much as I enjoy the job, it's a really hard job. If you've caught up with anything, if you keep up with any kind of stuff that's going on in our country and our world, you'll know teaching is just a hard job. I mean, it's always been kind of hard, but it's just getting really, really hard with the state of just everything that's going on. And ever since Dewey died, my heart's just not in it as much as it was. I mean, I'll put my all into my job because it's my job and I take pride in it. But so I'll do it. I do all of my work, but I don't have that passion for it anymore. Like my heart's not in it anymore. It's more of a chore, and the paycheck just does not reflect the amount of work that I put in. Oh my gosh, it's embarrassing, the little amount of my paycheck after all the everything comes out. It just makes me want to cry every time I see my paycheck. So anyway, if anybody else, somebody said they lost the feed. Hopefully it's still going. Anybody else lose the feed? All right. Well, let me know if you can't hear me or see me. All right. Let me catch up and see if there's any other people. Let's see. Hope the seminars talk to us widowers also. Tim, yes. A lot of the times I try to include widows and widowers. Some of the other influencers, they mostly like focus on widows because they're much more commonly out there in the groups and seeking support, but widowers are welcome to join. And of course, that in One Happy Widow, we take widows and widowers. We accept people in our group that weren't even legally married, or same-sex couples or fiancés or, any kind of life partner that is that is facing a loss of that type, we allow anybody like that into the group because the pain and the grief is real and similar, and that loss is still there. So yes, Tim, you are welcome to watch the seminars and to join the Holiday Hope Summit. Um, let's see. Laura says my husband passed away December 23rd, so it does not make it easier. So Laura, yeah, you're coming up on a milestone and also a almost Christmas time. So that I know is very tough. That just kind of compounds the grief, and I'm sure that just adds an extra layer of complication to your journey as well. Linda says near Gainesville. Okay, all right. And then Ethel from Arizona. Aunt B33 said, "This is my first live, and I'm a newbie to your YouTube channel. What is the 33 about?" The 33 was my husband's basketball number. And then it became my children's basketball number. So they were all 33 when they were playing basketball. And then since he died, for some reason, like we see the number 33 come up all the time. And so every time we see a 33 come up somewhere, and a lot of times it's a 333 to come up somewhere. Like I'm always taking screenshots whenever I see something with a 33, or I'll take a picture of the 33 and I'll send it to my 21-year-old daughter. And she's got the, I don't know if y'all can see this. It's upside down, but this is my husband's hand. And I had his initials right there put there, and his favorite flower, his favorite color. And this is actually his hand. So this is taken from a photograph, and it was done by his best friend. Anyway, my daughter has the same tattoo, but instead of the DB for his initial, she has the 33 right there. So anyway, 33 is just kind of like, our number. And then we got a lot of 17s too. But if you watch the recording of the at the Holiday Summit, I talk about the 33s and the 17s. So you'll be able to catch it then. Francis Cooper says, "Hi, Detroit suburbs, Michigan." Oh, so you guys are probably cold up there, I'm guessing by now. I don't know. We're already getting cold down here, and I hate it. Blessed Up says, "Hey, Wid fam, love you, Leo." Yes, thank you so much for joining. Laura says, "I understand about education being hard. I am in Iowa working with special education high school students." So, me too, special ed high school. I focus on math, but I got some resource classes, which we call small group now, that I teach by myself. I've got some extra support classes. I'm co-teaching a little bit with another teacher. So I do a little bit of all the different stuff with special ed and math. GGZ says, "I'm in and can see and hear." Awesome. Seeing and hear you. Good. Laura says 2-year anniversary. So yeah, so you're coming around on that second one. So you it's almost like the second time around sometimes is worse because you know what to expect. The numbness is wearing off. You're realizing that the reality is setting in, that it's just another time around. So it depends. Some people struggle more on that second year than on that first year. Laura's an instructional assistant. Okay. So in Georgia, we call those parapros. And so, yes, we have those and cannot live without them. Trust me, especially in the buildings. The parapros online, it's a little bit tougher to incorporate them in different ways, but in the building, we could not function without our parapros. Let me tell you what, they are invaluable to us. So thank you for everything you do, because teachers get paid low enough, but parapros and instructional assistants is like, it's almost an insult, like the amount of money that they try to get away with paying everybody in education. Barbara says, "Thank you for all your insights from," I don't know if you say Lafayette. You probably say Lafayette in Louisiana. In Georgia, we say Lafayette because we're Georgians and we say everything differently. We have to have our own way, just like we have Houston County instead of Houston. It's Houston. We call it the way it's spelled, Houston. But Texans would say it's Houston. So, would say they wrong. Tony says, "Couldn't agree with you more, Leo. I taught for 27 years. Unfortunately, I was able to retire when there was no way I could return to teaching after my husband died in January." So I have come back, but it's just been tough. Like since Dewey died in 2017. And so it's been 6.5 years. And I tell you, in 6.5 years, I've taught in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 different schools and 6 different jobs. Like, cause one just school I went to and then I came back to. And so, I've had like 6 different job changes. They've all been in special ed, high school, math, but at different locations, just for various reasons. And it's just been tough, and teaching is just tough anyway. And so I'm just freaking over it is basically is basically it. So also, and I'll just say, like, there's just been a bunch of stuff that's gone on recently that's just caused me a lot of stress. And I'm not gonna get down about it, and I'm not going to like wave the white flag and say that I give up and I can't do it. But I will say that it's just been rough. It's been rougher than, you know, just normal rough because grieving is always rough, right? And so, as I've said before, when you're grieving the loss of a spouse, there's a primary loss of their person, and then there's secondary loss of everything else in your life that has changed and turned upside down because of them not being in your life anymore. So that's like the extra salt that is just kind of being sprinkled on everything in your life. It just puts another level of difficulty on every single thing that you experience. It makes everything harder, everything sadder. Just it kind of just paints a dark, shade on everything. And so I've been just been hit with a lot of stuff recently. And so this is not a woe is me. And this is not, again, I always say this, don't make your grief a competition, especially when you're talking to other people like on our Facebook group. Everybody has lost a spouse or a loved one, a life partner. So like don't try to outdo somebody and say, well, I'm hurting worse than you because number one, that's not what this is about. And number two, we're all feeling it in different ways. And so this is not oh, I can outdo you on my amount of grief at all. It's just, sometimes we go through periods of time where it almost seems like you just get knocked down. And as soon as you try to start getting back up, you get knocked down again and knocked down again. And then there might be some calm times. And then it's like, things just kind of come in clumps. It seems like my daughter deals with it, and like she's dealt with a lot of deaths of close friends. And since her dad died, like her dad died when she was in ninth grade, 15. And then in those years of high school before she graduated, she lost like four different friends classmates that she went to school with. And some of them were just acquaintances that they ran in the same circles. And then two of them were pretty close to her. One of them, she was the last person that he texted before he got hit by a car and killed in the street. And so she was texting with him and he stopped texting and she didn't know why. And it turns out she was in the middle of texting him when he was killed. So that affected her. And then this past June, a few months ago, I shared this with you guys before, but her best friend in the whole world that she'd grown up with, since they were like 12 when she first came to Peachtree City, she died in a car accident. It was like her, ride or die person. She was the kid that would always come over to the house, and she was like an extra kid to us. You know what I mean? I had taught her and she had called me her school mom and we were very close. But anyway, she's just dealt with a bunch of death. And it just seems like it just hits her over and over and over again. So for me, it hasn't really been as much like that. It's just been like just life, life stuff has hit me a lot. Parenting stuff, because when Dewey died, all four of my kids were still at home. One of them was 19, but she had come home to help me with the other ones. And so the other three were still in school. And so I was trying to raise kids, work full time, grieve myself, deal with grieving kids. It was just tough. And so sometimes, like I said, things will kind of go a little smoothly. And sometimes they just kind of hit me like one after the other. And so between the stress of the new job, the stress of the new puppy, the money issues that we've been dealing with, trying to figure out how to get ourselves out of this money situation. It's not it's like, we're not going to lose our home. We're not going to lose cars. Like, we're not going hungry, none of that stuff, but just financially, we just need to be in a better place. Like we need to try to get out of some of these debts and things. So trying to fix that. It's been a lot of stress. And, like I said, the holidays coming up. The holidays are always tough because Dewey's birthday, November is a tough month for me because Dewey's birthday is on the 22nd, which is always during the week of Thanksgiving. Then you got Thanksgiving and you have Veterans Day. Veterans Day hits me hard because Dewey was in the military. He was all about being a soldier. He was a drill sergeant. He had gone to Afghanistan. I believe the cancer that he died from was caused by his exposure to the burn pits over in Afghanistan. I'm almost positive of it. The military does not agree, but that's what I think. So today when we were at church and they were honoring the veterans, it was just, it's tough. So Veterans Day is very tough for me. It's like one of the biggest triggers. So yeah, that was tough. And then recently, you guys know, I've talked about my sister a lot, my main man, Stormy. And, we've been basically joined at the hip, especially since Dewey died. And, he died, and then she got divorced shortly after that. So we were both kind of freshly single in different ways, and so we got really, really close, and we spent a lot of time together, and we were best friends. And we've had a falling out, and I won't get into details or any of that because I don't want to spread anybody's dirty laundry, even mine or hers. But and the funny thing is, the falling out was over over a death and an inheritance. Imagine that. Remember, I've always said that death brings out the worst in people, and it's done it again. It was over a death in our family and an inheritance, and just I don't go into details, but we've had a falling out, and I don't know if we'll even ever speak again. Like we're not speaking right now. So anyway, so that's been tough because about 10 times in the past week, my first instinct was, oh my gosh, I need to text my sister and tell her about that. And then I'm like, oh wait. Yeah. It happened a lot after Dewey died. I was like, "Oh, I need to text Dewey this. It's such a funny story. I'm gonna text him and tell him how this went." And I'm like, "Oh, yeah, I can't because he's not there to get the text." So, even though she's not dead, thank God she's not dead, but our relationship is dead right now. Hopefully, it can be revived at some point, but, like, just knowing that in my first thought is I need to text her about something, and then knowing that, you know, that can't happen right now. So anyway, that's just been another like level of loss and stress. Um, and then um, one of our, and if y'all are a member of our Facebook group, one of our members, um, he had been a member, and I'm not sure how long he had been a member, but his wife had passed a few months ago of cancer. And, he had posted some long posts and was really struggling. He was trying to get all the help that he could. He was going to therapy. He was going to grief share. He was joining groups. He was trying, he was trying to do all the things, and he was just not coping well. And so, and a lot of times we'll get posts in our group about people that are not coping well, and we try to put our arms around them, our virtual arms around them, and we try to lift them up and carry them through the low point and then hope that they get out of that, and so we all kind of have our dark moments where like a weak moment where we post things and we're struggling mentally and emotionally. And so we'll come to the group and sort of express those feelings, and everyone will come and gather around and just, kind of lift that person up, offer some ideas of what has helped us, and, try to share those ideas. And I, you can't help everybody and you can't save everybody, but, we try the best that we can. But because of the nature of our group, and because, we're dealing with people who've lost their spouses, we get these, um, we get messages like that on our group about despair and grief and sadness, and, you know, maybe thoughts of, I can't do this anymore, and, just hurt. And so we see those, I don't want to say all the time, but like we see them um more frequently than you would like on another group that doesn't deal with grief. And so it's not that we've become numb to it. It's just like, okay, we've got somebody in our group that's in a low point. We know why. And so we try to help them through it so that we can get them out of that low place and moving forward again. That's the whole point of the group. But at the same time, when you see those posts like that, you think it doesn't send up as much of a red flag as it would in just a regular group. If somebody posted those same kinds of posts in another group, like a sewing group or a coupon group or I don't know, a car lovers group or whatever, people would be like, "Ooh, that's, maybe we should, alert somebody about a post like that." But in a grief group, you see these kind of posts, on a more regular basis. So they don't send up as many red flags because like, okay, we know what's going on and we try to help them. So unfortunately, that member, and I won't, I'm not going to post the name of the member. If you're in our group, you know the name of the member, but he left the group. He was not kicked out of the group. Some people were like, I wonder if he got kicked out. He was not kicked out. He did leave the group, but I don't get like a message that says so and so has left the group. Like I don't get alerted when somebody just leaves the group. And so it's not like I know. It's just like when somebody unfriends you on Facebook, you don't really know unless you see their name as a suggested friend. And then you realize, I guess they unfriended me. So anyway, he had left the group at some point in September. And then some of the other common groups that he was in with other of our members had heard that he I don't know, with the holidays coming up and his loss and he just wasn't dealing with it well. And, he made a choice to, end his suffering. And so, um, it was just really sad because we've dealt with another loss of a person and a person that was in our group. And I don't know details. I don't know, and it's not really my place to dig around into the details except for that, one of our beloved group members, just made a choice in his grief journey, a choice that we don't want any of our members to make. And now his family is dealing with the loss of his wife and him within a short period of time, within a few months, right before the holidays. And so I pray for his family. I did not know him personally. I mean, I've read, posts of him, but anyway, it was just, it was it's a tough loss because you feel like, we all would just wonder if we could have said something or done something or, but, um, when it comes down to it, that we did the best that we could, just like I'm sure that everybody did. Everybody does it the best that they can. Nobody takes any body's pain lightly. We never do. And we try our best to lift up our members as best we can. And everybody makes their choice to grieve in their own way. And unfortunately, that was a choice that he made for himself, and it's just really sad. And I guess that's just kind of like a collateral damage, or I'm not trying to make light of it. I guess it's one of those things that comes with the territory, I guess you could say, because we've got people who are in an emotionally fragile state in our group. And the larger our group gets, the more percentage of people, that we'll have in those situations. So, just as a reminder, if you're here, you're widowed, and you're starting to have thoughts about those kinds of things, about like you can't do it, or you feel like you don't have any other choices except for very, very dark choices and hurting yourself or harming yourself, then just please reach out and know that there's so many options and there's so many resources out there. And if you're not sure what they are or who they are, then come to our group or contact me. And I can't help everybody, but I can sure as heck try to find and point you in the right direction of whatever resources that we can find for you. Like, we will try everything that we can to try to help people that are in pain, because we know what kind of pain that they're feeling. Everybody feels it differently and reacts to it differently, but we've all walked in those same shoes. And so, just remember, whatever it is you're feeling today is not how you're always going to feel. Even if it's good, like if you're having a really bad day, you're not always going to be feeling like that. If you're having a really good day, you're not always going to be feeling like that. Our emotions go up and down, our situations go up and down. So however you're feeling today, just know it's temporary. So, especially if you're feeling down in the dumps and you're having thoughts of doing things that would cause more pain and grief to your family, just try to stop and remember that you're not always going to feel this way. Tomorrow could be a different day. So, anyway, so I've got my list of things that I wanted to to try to bring up. And then this morning, oh my gosh, this morning I got up and I went to take the dog out, and I noticed that, like, kept rubbing my eyes and rubbing my eyes, and I noticed that I could not see. And so I took my glasses off and I was covering up one eye or the other. And out of one of my eyes, it wasn't black, but I could not see, I could not focus in one of my eyes. It was blurry. And I kept rubbing it, and, then I looked at my glasses. I was like, "Maybe I've got I've got a smudge on my glasses." So I was cleaning my glasses and trying to clean the smudge off, and I realized it was not a smudge, and it went on for, like, 15 minutes, and I was, freaking out because it was my good eye. I have both of my eyes are bad, but one's better than the other, but the good one, no matter if I had my glasses on or off, I could not focus. I couldn't see the leaves on the trees. I could not focus, sideways or front ways. I had lost clarity vision in my eye. And so I thought that I might be having a stroke. And then I thought maybe I was having what's called an eye stroke. And so it really was upsetting, and I wasn't sure what to do. And it's on a Sunday, and like, I don't have any leave on my job and I didn't want to make a doctor's appointment and I'm reading and it's like, if you've had these things, it wasn't painful. It just could not focus on in one eye. And it was like, if you've had these symptoms and blah, 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 this is a medical emergency and you need to get to the doctor right away because if you're having a stroke in your eye, they could fix it, but only if you get it done in a certain amount of time, like you're in this certain window of time. And I'm like, oh my gosh, do I need to go to the emergency room? And so, and I hate that kind of stuff. I hate going to the emergency room. I don't go. I just don't unless I think I'm going to die. I mean, I'm probably gone twice, in my life, except for to have babies. But, and so my husband's freaking out, he's like, oh my God, I'm taking you right now to the ER. I'm taking you right now. And so I got onto the phone to the nurse hotline and, then I was crying because I was like, "Oh my God, I'm not gonna be able to see out of my eye." And so, and while I was on the phone on hold with them to find out what I needed to do, my eye started clearing up little by little. And so on the peripheral was still, um, but fuzzy, but straight ahead, I could at least see with my glasses on. I mean, I had all four of my old pairs of glasses. I had my glasses before this and before that pair and before that pair, all the old ones that were all whatever, like I've saved them all. And I'm trying on this pair and looking up and trying on another pair and washing them all and wiping them down. I was like, they've all got smudges on them. And they weren't smudges. They were like my eyeball was smudged, I guess. And so, anyway, so my eyesight came back and slowly over the day it got better. And I ended up going to Lens Crafters, who's done my eye exams for my glasses and stuff. I was like, can you just look in my eye? Can you like just do one of those scans or whatever where you scan across my eyeball and just make sure that I don't have like a busted blood vessel that's caused my eye to be in a stroke or something? And so they did. They're like, yeah, but we don't take insurance for that. Like I have vision insurance for what? So they only do the insurance only covers an eye exam for glasses or contacts, but not for like eye health. I mean, I'm sorry, but that's messed up. And so it was $99 just for them to go look in my eye and be like, nope, your eye looks fine. There's no blood clots. There's no eye stroke. He's like, if you had a real stroke, we can't tell. It'd be a brain thing, but I don't have any other, any other symptoms of a real stroke. And so, although he did say that my other eye has lost clarity since 2 months ago when I got these glasses. And so I've lost some of my vision in my left eye, not vision, but like like I can't see as well. I don't have 20/20 corrected vision anymore in my left eye since 2 months ago. He's like, are you sure it's not your left eye? No, it's my right. He's like, well, your right eye is 20/20 now with glasses, but your left eye is not. Okay. Anyway, so it's just been like a, stressful day on a freaking Sunday after church. And here's the weird thing. I'm going to share this with you. The cause of the eye dysfunction, he did not say. All I can think of is I got two things that happened. On Friday night, I went to karaoke. This is so silly sounding, but I went to karaoke and I was singing and I sang a really high note. And I got like this instant headache. Like my whole head felt like it was in a vice grip and I almost passed out. And I think they call it a thunderclap headache or something. It was really bad, really fast. And it went away in about 20 minutes. And that was Friday night. And so Sunday morning was when my eye was messed up. So I don't know if like my blood pressure went up and I busted blood vessel hitting a high note, or something. I don't know. The only other thing I can think of is they say if you do have an eye stroke, it's possibly from stress from the screen time. I'm online teaching now, so I'm on the screen 8 to 10 hours a day. Plus, I'm on the screen doing the widow stuff, YouTube stuff. I'm on a screen all the time. So I think it's eye strain from screen time, which is not going to change anytime soon. But thankfully, I can see now. So I'll just, I might go to the doctor at some point and just have him check me out to make sure. But crisis averted. But this is a weird story. And if you are a Christian, then you listen. And if you are not, and you think it's a bunch of whatever, feel free to tune out. Okay. But I will just tell you, we go to a church that's got like 6,000 members. Okay. And they have 3 services every Sunday. That's how many people are at our church. It's a very huge church. But it was right before church that my eye was all messed up. And we were like, well, I don't know if we're going to go to church today because, I might have to go to the ER. And so it started clearing up right before. So I was like, okay, let's just go to church. if it's not better by the end of church, then, I'll go to the doctor. But I was like, what if something happens and I lose my eyesight? And they're like, yeah, well, if you'd have come to the doctor when it happened that day, we probably could have saved your eye. But, since you waited, now you're going to be blind or something. You know how, like, I'm second guessing. I'm like, do I need to go? Do I not? I'm just up in the air. So we're going to we go to the church service, and at the very end of the church service, our pastor was like, let me tell you a little story. And he tells us a story about how on Thursday, this past week was his birthday. Somebody was giving him a birthday present. And as he handed over the birthday present, he, like a line went down his right eye, and he couldn't see out of the side of his right eye. And then the line got bigger, and he was like, man, I need some drops. And his wife was like, no, you don't need drops. You need to go to the doctor. So he calls the doctor, and the doctor was a fellow Christian. And so he's like, yeah, I'm about to close, but you need to get over here and let me look. He's like, no, I just need some eye drops. He's like, no, you need to come in and let me look at your eye. So he goes in and gets an eye exam, and come to find out his retina was partially detached. So was his other one. And he sent him straight to the hospital to get surgery. And he's like, if you had not come here and seen this in time and got this surgery, your retinas would have been detached and you would have gone blind. And I'm like, that was today at church, not even an hour after my right eye had been messed up. And I was wondering, should I go to the doctor or should I just let it go? And I'm like, whoa, God, okay, heard ya, got the message. Thanks. Like, that's not a coincidence, guys. Like, if you're not a Christian, I don't know how you can call that a coincidence, but you know what? That's on you. If you are, you will know that was God saying, get to the doctor. I was looked at my husband and I was like, I'm calling the doctor as soon as I leave church. So it wasn't the same outcome, thank God. But I mean, what's the chances of that happening and that story being told right there on that day? So that's why I went to LensCrafters and got my little eye exam. And, thankfully, I think everything's fine. But anyway, yes, stay prayed up, sis. Exactly. Exactly. All right. So basically that's that's all the stuff that's been leading up to all of this crap. And then now we got the holidays. So, and I'm not going to do a big speech. I'm already at 41 minutes. So I'm not doing a big speech about like how to deal with the holidays, because that's what my recorded message is about on the Holiday Hope Summit. So sign up for that. Again, it's the 16th, 17th, and 18th of November. So it's coming up like at the end of next week. And there's also, when you sign up, there's also a private Facebook group that you can go into. I'm already in there, so you can sort of interact with other people that are in the summit, other of the speakers that are in there. There's a lot of widowed influencers in there. Some I've never even heard of that are, discovering some really cool resources. Some I have heard of. One that we've already done an interview with, Jen Zwink, that she used to do Widow 180. Now she's part of the Widow Squad. John Polo, if y'all have heard of John Polo, he was in some of the Facebook groups with me in my early grief days. But and since then, he has written 2 or 3 books about his widowed experience. Really cool books, like not hokey, corny, like really cool, down to earth. You would really like them. And then a woman called Ryan Moats, I think her name is, and I think she does a YouTube channel called Brian to the Rescue. And hers is all about like showing women how to do what's typically like man chores. Since her husband died, she had to figure out how to like change tires and check her oil and change light bulbs and light fixtures and ceiling fans and work on cars and, all these like man things or whatever. She's had to teach herself how to do those things since she lives alone. And so she shares videos about how to do those things. And so it's, really cool channel. Definitely check it out. So anyway, like I said, I know the holidays are coming up. Once the Widow Holiday Summit is, over and done with, then I will do some more talks about that stuff. I just don't want to I don't want to spoil anything and give away the topics of my talk because it's in the Holiday Summit. So I'm on day 2, so that will be the 17th. So there's like 8 or 10 people on the first day, and then another 8 or 10 on the second day, and then another 8 or 10 on the third day. And they're all pre-recorded, and they're, anywhere from 10 to 20 minutes or so on different grief topics for the holidays. Some are financial, some are emotional, some are, just all different topics. And so I would encourage you, especially if you're kind of wondering, I don't know how I'm going to get through the holidays. I don't know if I can do it. How am I going to do it? What am I going to do? How do I plan? Do I do all the same things that I did before? Do I do all new things? Do I do a mix? Do I do a hybrid? How do I celebrate my first holiday without him? How do I get through another holiday without him or her? Um, and so it's just going to have a lot of practical, actionable things that you could do that will help you, give you specific ideas of, we all know how we're feeling and how we're going through these. Here's some ideas that will help you. You don't have to use any of them or all of them, but, at least you've got something out there of somebody talking to you like, I know what you've been through. I'm going through it too. Here's some ideas of how you can survive the holidays without your loved one, whether it's your first one, second, fifth, 10th, whatever. This will be my 6th or 7th. I try not to keep track because I don't want to be that person who keeps track, but, and it's just a little bit different every time. I remember actually, I don't remember. I will share this. My first Thanksgiving, after Dewey died, he died in June. And that first Thanksgiving, I don't have any idea what we did. I don't know. I don't know if I had food at the house. I don't know if I went somewhere to somebody else's house. I don't know if my girls cooked. My girls usually cook. I don't remember one single bit of the first Thanksgiving after he died. I'm sure we did something. I don't know what it was. I don't have a single memory of it, which tells me kind of on the flip side, on down the road, I'm like, does it even really matter what we did? Because I don't even remember it anyway. I mean, it does matter, but the point, like in the grand scheme of things, it's one day in your life. And I know it's a big one and it's a milestone. It's a triggering. And I know you're going to feel some feelings, but as time goes by, you're going to look back and it's going to be another one of those days that you got through. And so sometimes the anxiety of building up to it is worse or more pressing than the day itself. And you wake up on that day and you're like, okay, well, it's just another day in my grief life. And so, like I said, I blocked it out, maybe it's traumatic. I don't know, but I don't remember what I did on that first Thanksgiving. Got no memory of it. I got very little memory of the funeral. Like if you've watched my old videos, you'll know there's a lot of things that I don't remember. I talked about journaling because I'm like, I don't remember I don't remember how my kids got to school for the first school year after he died. Like I don't know if they took the bus. I don't know if I dropped them off. I don't remember. Isn't that sad? Something I did every day for a whole school year. I don't remember. And so I don't remember much of the Christmas. What I do remember is I bought him a heck of a bunch of Christmas presents, because some of the money had just come in from life insurance. And so I was like, well, I'll just buy their happiness. Like they'll forget all about missing daddy if they've got their PS, whatever, their video games and their skates and their hoverboards and their bull crap, like all these presents. In my mind, I was like, well, I'll just buy their happiness. So I bought them so many gifts. That's the only thing I remember is that I bought them everything they asked for material wise, they got. So, and guess what? They didn't forget about daddy on Christmas. It did not take away their pain. It did not work. It just cost me a whole bunch of money. So note to self, that does not work. But I remember that's what I did. I was like, I'll just buy and buy and buy. That's about the only thing I remember about that Christmas. And that my youngest daughter, Dallas, she was 7 at the time. The only 2 things that she asked for that she didn't get was a puppy. She did not get a puppy. And she asked for her daddy back. She asked Santa Claus for her daddy. And she specifically said, not my sick daddy, but the daddy that was well. Please bring him back. Please, pretty please. You can keep every other present if you please just send me my daddy back. And I have a picture of that, like on that little letter that she wrote. I took a picture of it. It's very sad. And so that was when I realized that it didn't matter how much I bought for her. She wasn't ever going to get what she wanted for Christmas because that's the one thing that she wanted. And that's the one thing I could not give her. And so, we just had to, over the years, we've had to figure out other ways of celebrating Christmas, how to celebrate when you don't feel like celebrating. Right. So I'm going to go back through the chats and just see if there's anything pressing that I need to address. And then after that, we will wrap it up and we will see y'all at the Holiday Hope Summit. Again, I don't have the link right now that I can put in the chat, but it'll be down below and I'll post it again in the Facebook group. If you want to join the Facebook group, do that too. Let's see. Kathy says my second year was the most definitely worst. Yes, a lot of people say that. A lot of people say that the second year after, the death of their spouse is even tougher than the first. It just depends. Some people say yes, second, some people say first. It just kinda depends on how, how they're dealing with it. Laura says, "I struggle with watching others with their spouses and families. I feel envious. I started a new job at a new school, so I'm moving forward and grieving at the same time." So, Laura, a lot of people feel that way. They have a hard time seeing happy couples because 'cause they're like, "That should be me and my man. That should be me and my woman. That should be me and my spouse." And, sometimes and it's hard too to hear people complain about their spouse. "My husband does this, and I can't stand it." And you're like, "Well, at least you have a husband to complain about." So sometimes it makes us feel salty. And I also had to get a new job at a new school, because I just couldn't it was too triggering for me. It did help when I switched, schools. Tony says, "I do hope that you're able to retire at the end of the school year. It's such a real shame that American teachers don't get paid as well as they should." Yeah, I don't know if it's in other countries if they get paid well, but in America, you can't even, you can't it's not even hardly a living wage, for teachers now, and depends on the state. Some states are easier than others, but, I mean, and I'm not scared to share, but, like, right now I've been teaching for over 20 years, and I have 3 college degrees, and I make, less than $55,000 a year. And after my, all of my stuff comes out or whatever, my paycheck after taxes and everything else that comes out is not even $3,000 a month. So for all the bull crap that I put with, it's just that doesn't go very far. It just doesn't. I mean, you would think that a professional with a college degree with 20 some years of experience would, you know, should make 100 grand. I mean, I would think, but not even close, barely over half that. And so let's see. So yes, I hope I'm able to retire too. I won't be able to make any money off the retirement until I'm 60, but I'm hoping that I can just do some YouTube stuff and it won't how hard is it to replace $3,000 a month? And I could almost be a barista at Starbucks and do it. Just about, which is what my kids are doing. Anyway, Tim says, 22 months, recently retired, so more time to think, so it's bad sometimes. Yeah, I think a lot of times busyness, staying busy, I don't know if it helps, but like it keeps our mind off of the grief. Sometimes it postpones it and it comes back to haunt us, or it comes back at other times. But sometimes I have found for me, sometimes when I want to avoid grief, I stay busy. I don't know if that's healthy, but I know it is common. Do you ever have dreams of Dewey as of recently? Do you have a lot of dreams when he first passed on? I haven't had very many dreams of him recently, but in the beginning, I did. And I will say the times that I had the most dreams of him was when I first started dating JP and we were getting serious and right after we got married because it must have been that guilt. I had several dreams about him coming back and he's like, "Well, I'm back from my trip. I know you thought I was dead, but I was just really on a trip and now I'm back and now I'm ready to go home and see my kids. Let's go home." And in the dream, I'm like, "Oh my gosh, how do I tell him that I have a new husband now?" So I'm sure that was like my mind trying to reconcile, one husband with another husband. So that's when I had the most dreams about that was when I was trying to sort of, I guess, handle, the guilty feelings of moving forward and still loving your spouse and, all the all the complications that come up with that in your brain. Um, Jesus freezing. Idea Factory says, "Nancy here waving. Yay." Jen B said, "This is my first holiday season without my husband. He passed in April." And so, Jen, I would say the Widow Holiday Summit, Holiday Hope Summit. I keep getting the word wrong. Holiday Hope Summit would definitely be something that would benefit you. Sending virtual hugs. Thank you very much. And some praise hands. And death brings out the truth. Yeah, you know what? That's sad but true. I hate that, but it really does. Southeast Washington State. Jonice says, "Sorry to hear that. I think she's talking about my sister. I know you've seen some stormy stuff in the past." Aunt B33, I think that might be me because isolated for the past year. I spent 4 months, including the holidays, in the hospital with him. Then he passed. Took me to New York to get my health back and still working on it. Yeah. So, and yeah, sometimes grief can like affect us physically. And so it can affect our immune system. It affects our um, our cortisol levels, it affects our immune system and our ability to heal. Like it just does a doozy on us physically and a lot of other ways. I've had some childhood issues come up. It is not fun. Yeah, that's, to mix it up with grief on top of that, it just makes it like a double decker crap sandwich. Um, Jonice says that broke my heart hearing of his death. Yes, and that's sad that he was reaching out, that does make me sad as well. WCGL says from Columbus, Ohio. I agree. Idea Factory says blessed up. I'm trying to heal from the loss of my spouse and work through my childhood trauma at the same time. It's extremely tough. Yeah. Sometimes I think a lot of that old stuff that we've tried to hold down, that grief just kind of opens it up, like kind of opens Pandora's box and starts some things over again. And I've talked about this in a video before, but like I have ADHD and I had it since I was a kid, but it was undiagnosed because I was always joking about like, yeah, I probably got it. I probably have ADD. I probably have it. But I managed, graduated from high school, graduated from college, graduated from grad school multiple times. And I'm like, I don't need a diagnosis. I don't need medicine. I'm learning how to cope. But when I started grieving, I was so focused on my grief that I was not able to deal with all um, the symptoms that come up with ADHD. And it's not just about attention. There's all kinds of other things that I've learned about, rejection sensitivity, emotional stabilization, and just, feelings of low self-worth, just all kinds of stuff. And being able to focus and just, then I finally got diagnosed and I finally got on some medication. It was a lifesaver for me. So, but, going through grief made it to where I could no longer manage the symptoms of my ADHD without medication, where I had been able to do it for 47 years and suddenly I couldn't anymore. So yeah, that was just like proof that those kinds of things, kind of come up. So those triggers really bite. Yes, they do. I don't do Facebook, but I wished I could be a part of the group. Susan from Ohio. Kay Benton says it's sad to hear, but unfortunately it does happen. Blessed up. Are you seeing this on YouTube? Yeah, this is on YouTube. So I posted about it on Facebook, but this is on YouTube Live. Prayers for you and all of us that are going through not only the loss of a spouse, but other family too. It does hurt even worse. Yes. And prayers and prayers. Everyone is so supportive in our group. I agree that ours is, I just have to say it's the best. It's the best group on Facebook. It just is. But go there if you're not a member and apply, and we'll get you in there. National hotline, dial 988. Yes, it used to be like a long number. Now you can just dial 988 in the United States, and you can get the national hotline for that if you're having any kind of those thoughts. So definitely do that. Let's see. Battle Creek, Michigan. Lori Reynard is, and then Tim Smith, diabetes. Yeah, it's not diabetes. Thank God. I'm on carnivore. So, I'm really trying hard to keep my sugar down. So luckily it is not diabetes. My husband, Dewey, that was another one of the issues that he had was diabetes, really bad. And, he was taking shots of medicine, all kinds of stuff. So, yeah, I don't eat any sugar or bread or pasta, rice, or any of that stuff. So, I sure needed to hear that. Today is not the way you'll feel tomorrow. Yes, sometimes it feels that it will never go away. And I have to tell this to my kids a lot, like, remember, however you're feeling today, this is not how you're going to feel the rest of your life. It's like a roller coaster. Life is some high points and some low points, and 90% of our life is somewhere in between those two. And so we have to learn how to just, make the most of our life in those in-between points, and then appreciate the really high points, and then try our best to live through the low points, and then just, make the most of how our existence of the times in between. And that's what life is. So let's see. Stay prayed up, sis. God is good. I believe that he gets the message across in some unique ways and prayers. I agree. When it comes to our eyes, you never wait. And yes, that was a God thing. So yeah, I don't know what the deal was, but I think it's okay now. I got chills, divine intervention, right? Like that. I don't know. That was just very, I don't want to say weird, but like, how do you call that a coincidence? I don't know. Journaling helps. Take some time, but it works. Yes, journaling. If you want some free journal templates, onehappywidow.com/journal. There's some free templates you can download and print out if you wanted some journal pages. Precious girl, second year is worse for me. Yeah, a lot of people do say that. Sharon. Hey, Sharon. Hey, it's Terry from Pennsylvania. And in France, the pay is worse for teachers. Oh, I don't know how it could be much worse, but I feel sorry for the French teachers then. Ooh. And we thought you got rich from YouTube. Right. I can share my analytics on that. Actually, it's probably not much below the teaching salary. So, Piglet's Bank says, take care, everyone have to go. Blessed Up says, survivor's guilt is real. Yes, and it can be. Survivor's guilt definitely can be real. Jelly Rabbit says, your dream sounds like the movie Castaway. I have to think about that one. I have seen it, but it's been a long, long time. Oh yeah. When he came back and she had moved on. Yeah, pretty much like that. Yes. Aunt B says, I've cried through all of this. I appreciate everyone's support. Oh, well, I mean, I don't mean to make people sad and cry. I really don't. But sometimes triggers just happen. And sometimes we do have to let out that pressure sometimes. So, Aunt B, I don't know if you're part of our Facebook group, but if you're not, I would encourage you to go become a member. If you need the link, I can type it in below. Christy says, my first holiday since my husband passed unexpectedly in January. I'm skipping the holidays this year. Well, you know what? You go right ahead. If it hurts more to do it than it does to skip it, then skip it. Do whatever's best for you, and then try again next year and see how it goes. And that's totally okay. We're not obligated to do any of that stuff. As long as we're not hurting ourselves or others, we do whatever we need to get through it. Donna says, my deceased husband's birthday is Tuesday. He died in May. I think I will celebrate it at one of his favorite restaurants. I think that's a great idea, Donna. Honor him by eating one of his favorite meals at his favorite place. And that's just a good way to keep his legacy alive. I agree. I think it's great. All right. Okay. So that's going to wrap it up. I'm having ups and downs. In 9 days, it will be 2 years since my husband passed. So just take one day at a time. So Nancy, that's what we have to do, is take one day at a time. And, I don't know any other way to get it. I mean, to do it is the only way to get through it is to get through it. Right. I had a therapist, respond to one of my videos, and she said, how does she say it? In order to heal, you've got to feel, or something like that. And it was like some kind of catchy little thing about, you gotta feel it to heal through it or something. And I thought, okay, yeah, that's a good one. Like, you can't just skip it. You can't ignore it, because it's going to come back on you. So, okay. Thank you so much for tuning in. And we've had a really nice crowd, a really good little chat. And I'll have to do some more of these live sessions. I know I just have to get back on it, but y'all stay tuned. Check out the links below on the recording so that you can get all the good resources that I have for you. And we'll see you in the Facebook group or in the next live or video. All right. See ya. Bye.